you tell us your first name and where you're from?
It's Keith Liberty, and born in Bayshore, Long Island, and after the blizzard of '78, moved to Florida, grew up there, and came out to Arizona about 2.5 years ago.
So the way that we met was earlier. I pulled over and asked you for directions and noticed that you were making some pretty cool artwork. Can you tell us what got you towards, what drew you towards creating art?
Well, I've had a long, extensive past of drug and alcohol abuse, and going through a lot of my clinical programs, day programs, and whatnot to help you become sober, I found out about this place called Art Awakenings, and it's considered art therapy. There's actually a saying there that art saves lives, and it has. It saved my life, and I couldn't draw a stick figure before I started there. So I'm selling some pieces here and there now, but they have great groups on relapse prevention, anger management, and many other tools that we could use, and they give us the resources for that. So I'm blessed to have at least that part of my life kind of changed around.
From what we were talking about earlier over breakfast, we got the sense from you that you come from a very you come from a very sort of like unique background, right? Like you've sort of lived like these real, heavy life experiences. Do you want to share a little bit with us about how that contributed to the way that you create art?
Sure. Being in New York, I had a very abusive biological father, and I won't get into the details of that, but we pretty much ran from the area. My mother got remarried to a wonderful father of mine. I don't call him a stepdad because he was a great provider, and he was always there for me. We moved way upstate New York, and after the blizzard of '78, my folks said, that's it, we're moving to Florida. So I grew up in Florida, and about the age of 14 is when I discovered drinking and drugs, and I lived in a cloud pretty much all my life. I couldn't see the future through the cloud, so I was kind of just here and there, and lost a lot of jobs, lost a lot of friendships, relationships, and whatnot. Became homeless for the first time in 2017, lost my really good job. Then I got arrested, DUI, and I actually told the officer, this is my demise. I'm almost kicked out of my apartment, and now I lost my car, my license, and whatnot. And the officer did ask if I was going to hurt myself, and I said, yeah, probably. So I went to kind of a rehab for psychological and behavioral health hospital, and I got arrested out of there after about a week, and came home after being bailed out by my friend. Came home to find out I was being evicted. So I lost everything in about a 3-month time period. So evidently somebody was trying to tell me something, and then my uncle found out I was on the streets, and he decided he was going to buy me a trailer, and I could move out here to Arizona, and to a trailer park where he was good friends with the trailer park owner, and it's close by his shop and whatnot. And then kind of found out about other drugs while I was out here. And once my uncle found out, he had me petition to go into the hospital. And through the hospital, and also group homes, and now with my short-term living, which is wonderful, and all these therapy classes and whatnot, I found that with Art Awakenings, I could really hone in on something that takes me away from the addictions that I had for over 32 years. And I couldn't draw a stick figure when I first started. Yeah, like I said, that I'm selling some of my art now, and it kind of takes me away to a different place. It's very relaxing, and at least if I do a good painting. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it, and I'm blessed to have it. That's for sure.
So it sounds like you've had you've had some real life experiences with our nation's medical systems, the various medical systems. Because this is such an important election year, if you were able to speak to anyone in government, anyone who would be able to affect our healthcare system, or even President Trump, what would be your perspective that you would like to share with them about our healthcare system?
Well, because of the budget cuts, a lot of us have lost a lot of the resources for us for healing, behavioral, mental, and physical health. There are people suffering out there, a lot more than I am, but I am in that category. And I think that the nation's money-wise, I'm not really sure. The budget, I should say, should be more evenly divided, and not forget about the people who really need the health care and disability as well. I know that it's so hard to get on disability nowadays for people that can't do a job and whatnot. And I do understand that that President Trump has brought some, some things to people, like higher raises, and saw on the news yesterday somebody said that they had their the 401k double or triple, and so they're very happy for that, but not finding him as a people person. I remember when he first got elected and Puerto Rico was really devastated by a huge hurricane. President Trump went down to visit and was throwing paper towels into the crowd and told them to clean up their act, or clean themselves up. And then he went on to say that they're costing us here in the States a lot of money, as if they had any choice in the matter, or anything, any control over that. So that's what kind of got me down on the Trump, President Trump. I know he's taken a lot of money as well from a lot of us to build the wall, with Mexico and whatnot. And I'm up in the air with that one. But spread it out more, so people who are in need of the health care can really take advantage of those resources that we're struggling to find now.
I remember when then candidate Trump on the 2016 campaign trail said that after he changes the healthcare system, everyone's going to have universal or near universal coverage, and everyone is going to be happy with their healthcare. Is it fair to say that you would like him to deliver on that promise?
Absolutely. I think you definitely want to get the people's vote, obviously, to be in office, and I think that's a great way to do that. I know he's done a lot with with the gun situation and bringing back some of the budget for the people, working class people. But those of us who cannot work, we really need that health care, and I think that could be changed.
I'm actually really glad that you just mentioned that, because one of our passions, one of the reasons that we created this channel, is because we are huge proponents of the idea of a guaranteed minimum income. Martin Luther King talked about this before he was killed. And one of the things that we like to ask people is, if you were paid the same amount no matter what you did, like your needs were taken care of for, like you didn't have to worry about basic needs, you didn't have to worry about a roof over your head or providing yourself enough food to eat, if you were paid enough to take care of your basic needs so that you could pursue work that is intrinsically meaningful to you, meaning like you're passionate, you pursue that work because you're passionate about it, not because you're reliant on it for a wage. Mm-hmm. So if you were paid the same amount no matter what you did, how would you choose to contribute back to your society and back to the human species?
Well, I do have to say that art is definitely brought along a lot of happiness for myself, and I think that the art could contribute to I don't know, it's something that's so, I don't know if it's eclectic what I'm looking for or whatnot with art, and I mean I never paid attention to art when I was younger, and now it's become a passion. So if I could even make the same wages of anything else, I would love to sell my art. Higher passion for me is fishing. I grew up in Florida, all around the waters, and I would love to be a fishing tour guide and show people where some great spots are and show them how to, and especially kids. I think the kids sometimes don't get taught by their parents, or maybe their parents don't know how to do certain things, and fishing is something I know really well. So I would love to, to do that. One other quest that I would enjoy, and if there's a way that I would make the same amount of money, I would love to run a amusement park for kids and adults, and because I enjoy making people happy, and so yeah, those would be the three that I would probably pick the most.
I like what you said about creating art. Is it fair to say that there's an element of like catharsis in creating art? Like putting something, like creating something, and then after you're done with it, you feel like you've sort of released this part of yourself, this like burden that's part of you, and you've put it on the canvas, you've put it on the page, and now as a result, you feel like much better about it.
Absolutely. There's something about finishing a piece and being happy with it, especially when you get compliments from others. And you almost read yourself through your artwork in the way, because you remember each brush stroke, and you can tie that into each different moment in life, to the brush strokes, or even my ceramics, which is really good with working with your hands. It keeps the mind busy, so it centers yourself, or ourselves, and it really takes you away from, like I said, with my drug addiction and whatnot, and it helps me deal with the traumas that I've had to deal with over my lifetime.
Is it fair to say that what motivates you to create happiness in other people's lives, children, adults, is your life experiences, where the roller coaster of your life has had high highs, but also very, very deep lows?
Absolutely. I want to create memories for people that they're going to remember for life, and to always keep them happy. So if they are down or they're struggling through something, they can look back at these times and really say, hey, you know what? There was a time when I felt really good, and that I had a good time. Not everything is terrible. So, with that being said, that's really, I like to feel that feeling of cathartic, where, because you feel so good about helping other people. You're basically helping yourself by helping other people. And when you could get somebody to smile or laugh or have a good time, it's just, that's what this world should be. There's too many of us that are out there looking for ourselves, looking just out for ourselves. And I think that's part of what's tearing this country apart. As you mentioned earlier about people that live in villages, it's a tight-knit group of people, whether it be family or not. And there's, the gatherings and whatnot. And because we're the melting pot of the world, those who were born here in the States really have lost sight of that village feeling. Everybody's out on their own, doing other things. There's people that haven't contacted their parents in a long time, or their other kin, and I think we need to bring that back to that family feel, and I think this country will get along a lot better.
Keith, thank you for sharing your perspective with us. I very much look forward to seeing your contributions to this world.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.